Everyone, in this week's rendition of Monday TNT, that is quick stats, tips and tricks that will make your coding life more fun, I want to show you 3 easy ways to get some data to play with. So the best way of learning how to clean and visualize data is to find some data that you're kind of curious about and that you have a question that you want to answer about. So I'm going to throw you 3 ways. First, from R and RStudio built-in datasets, second from tidyverse packages, and then third from Tidy Tuesday. So let's start by getting some data from built-in RStudio. So I haven't loaded any packages in this session yet, but if I make a new chunk and just call data and run that, this are datasets that are associated with the package datasets comes up, right? So in this list of datasets, there are lots of the really famous ones that you often see used in data demonstrations. So we have the iris dataset, we have the empty cars dataset, and most recently, if you're using the most recent version of R, that is 4.5, you'll notice that the Parma Penguins dataset that you used to have to load the Parma Penguins package to get is now part of this base R datasets package. So let's say we are interested in playing around with the Penguins dataset. To get that Penguins dataset into your environment, it is as easy as saying that you want to take the Penguins dataset and assign it to an object in your environment. If I run that, you'll see that now I have some penguins data to play around with in my environment. So the Penguins dataset is now in base R, so you can get to it and other interesting datasets via this data call. Now, there are also datasets that are in tidyverse packages. So these are the datasets that are often used to demo functions in the documentation or vignettes. So if I load the tidyverse and then call that data function again, if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, these are the data sets that are in the base R. But if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see that there are data sets that are associated with dplyr and forcats and ggplot and lubridate, stringr, etc. So once you load the tidyverse, then you can read in these data sets as you would others in the base R. So I'm noticing here in the marine animals theme, there is a data set apparently about seals that is in the ggplot2 package. So how about we load in the seals data to go with our penguins data. Again, because you've loaded the tidyverse now, you can just say I want to create a new object in my environment called seals, and now I have some latitude and longitude data around seals. Okay, so now that we have penguins and seals, these are data sets that are associated with base R and tidyverse packages. The third way I want to show you is via the Tidy Tuesday R package. So the Tidy Tuesday R package is Tidy Tuesday, I can't talk and type at the same time. The Tidy Tuesday R package has a lot of useful functions that make it easy to get the Tidy Tuesday data into your environment. There are also new functions that make it super easy for you to curate and contribute a data set to Tidy Tuesday if you want to. But the idea of the functions in the Tidy Tuesday R package is that you should be able to interact with Tidy Tuesday data without ever having to leave RStudio. You don't necessarily have to go to the GitHub repo to interact with Tidy Tuesday via the Tidy Tuesday package. So as a demo of that, I'm going to use the TT available function to get a list of all of the Tidy Tuesday data sets. Now, this function takes a while to chunk because Tidy Tuesday has been going for years, and there are hundreds of really interesting data sets that you can use to play around with. So you'll notice over here in my viewer, I now have a list of all of the Tidy Tuesdays data sets from 2025, and if I keep scrolling back, there is 2024 and going back to when Tidy Tuesday began. Now, I seem to remember last year there was a data set related to orcas, and I'm just gonna see if I can find it. Here we are. So in week 42 of 2024, the data set for Tidy Tuesday was related to killer whales. So I want to read that data set into my environment to go with my penguins and my seals. So I'm going to use the TT load package, and I want to create a new thing in my environment called orcas. And I'm going to use the TT load packet function to load the data set, and you can just use the date. So here the date is 2024-10-15. All right. Now, when you use the TT load packet function, it will pull the Tidy Tuesday data from that date into your environment, but you'll notice that it's a list. And that's because sometimes Tidy Tuesday data involves more than one CSV file. We can have a look to see what's going on in this list and notice that actually for this data set, there is only one data file. So ideally, I want that as a data frame that I can use. And so I'm just going to pipe on the end here, pluck the first item of this list. So the pluck function is from per package and allows you to pull the item from a list, a little bit like using double square brackets. So I'll run that again, and now I have a data frame with this orcas encounters data in my environment to play with. So 3 super quick ways to find some data that you're curious about, that you want to play with to help you learn how to wrangle and visualize data in R. Good luck.